Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Oh, I like the sound of that. Good morning and welcome to the 6th Annual National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. I'm Michael Kaiser. I'm the Executive Director of the National Cybersecurity Alliance, and it's an honor to hold that position. And I'm actually the proud host of today's event, along with the Department of Homeland Security, and along with the ms-isac, which is one of our partners in National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and getting the word out and engaging all of you in participating. We have a really exciting program this morning, I think as you all know, to launch the month. In a few minutes, we're going to hear from the Department of Homeland Security Secretary, Janet Napolitano, Deputy Secretary of Defense, William Lynn, and the White House National Security Staff Acting Senior Director for Cybersecurity, Chris Painter. This is quite an all-star lineup, and we are very excited this morning. That will be followed by a distinguished panel on cybersecurity and closing remarks from Department of Homeland Security Undersecretary for National Protection and Program, Rand Beers. So as you can see, this is about substance this morning as well as about awareness, and we're really excited to have you all here. First, I always have to start by thanking the Board of Directors of the National Cybersecurity Alliance. Like any nonprofit organization, I count on my board, we count on our board to do everything we do. They are involved in every element of our success. Board member companies also make extremely important financial contributions, as you might well imagine, to help us do the good work that we do, and I think all those contributions help you do the work that you do, and I think that's very important to note. The board and the companies they represent are extraordinary in their commitment to cybersecurity, and they're not just their commitment to it, their passion for it. They understand the value of the public-private partnership that we've created, and it's how it's important to conduct the kind of awareness activities that we do, and I'll talk a little bit more about our shared responsibility in a minute, and that's why it's so important. And have no doubt that every single one of these companies is committed to our secure digital future, and that's a lot of the theme about today, about where we're headed and how we get there. The staff of NCSA, we have the enjoyable job of working closely with all these folks. There are numerous smart, energetic, and passionate people in each one of these companies that we work with, and we couldn't achieve our mission without them. And speaking of our mission, our goal is to empower and support digital citizens to use the internet securely and safely, protecting themselves, protecting the networks that they use, and protecting the cyber infrastructure as well. And it's important that those things get connected together, because that's the message we're trying to get across. And unfortunately, not every single board member could be here today. Some are in California, some are having travel. They all have other responsibilities as well. But every board member company is represented here today. I'm going to go and name our board members, and if you're a board member and you're here, I'm going to ask you to stand so that you can be suitably recognized by your peers. AT&T, Chris Boyer. Cisco, Lori Bush. EMC, Shannon Kellogg, also our treasurer. Google, Eric Davis. McAfee, Francie Coulter. Microsoft, Jacqueline Boucher. Symantec, Tiffany Jones. I don't know if she's back in the room. And SAIC, John Haverman. Thank you all. If that list sounds a little longer than it was last year, it is. We're growing, and our hope is to build an even larger group of companies that represent the internet, the cyber infrastructure, and all the cyber assets that we have out there. If we're going to be a national cybersecurity alliance, we have to be broad and we have to be deep at the same time. And I think the board is growing, and it's been a tremendous benefit to me to have all this increased wisdom and new people on our board. And none of what we do could be done without the support and sponsorship of the Department of Homeland Security. Over the last year, since I became the executive director of NCSA, and yeah, it's only been 13 months and it seems like a long time, I've had the sincere pleasure of working closely with numerous people at the department. And everyone I've met at DHS has done everything they can to help us move the ball forward in constant, steady success. And this is part of the public-private partnership, that we work together to get these things done. And I can't be more thankful to the help that I've gotten from them. But nothing says more about DHS's commitment than the presence of Secretary Napolitano and other DHS leadership here today. Awareness, as we all know, is sometimes about getting the message through the noise, right? There's a lot of stuff out there when you're trying to get your messages out. Well, it's a whole lot easier when it comes from the top. And by focusing attention on awareness on day one, hour one of the month, Secretary Napolitano makes all awareness efforts that follow a bit easier, because all of us, as we go through the month and conduct our awareness activities, can point back to her leadership as the validation of what we're trying to achieve. And this is really important for all of us. So listen to her remarks today, listen to what everybody says about what we're trying to achieve, and use that as part of your launching point for everything that you do in the month. And we should also be thankful to the U.S. Senate, which on Tuesday passed Resolution 285. 16 senators co-sponsored the resolution. It's an incredible document. It captures the purpose of the month, the challenges we face, and the promise of the future. And read it, actually, in its entirety. I put it on my blog last night. You might know our website, StaySafeOnline.org. It's an educational document. You can share it with other people. It's really a tremendous document. I know there are a lot of people who make that a reality. I think Samir Balotra from the Intelligence Committee is here today. I believe he's here in the audience. If you see him and meet him, thank him. There was a lot of good work that went into that, and we appreciate that as part of the shared responsibility. So where do we begin? It starts with our theme. It's really critical, our shared responsibility. Look around this room today. Roughly 40% of you are here from government, 40% are here from the nonprofit, from the industry, and 20% from nonprofit sector. That's tremendous. That shows our shared responsibility. Given that there are more than 300, we operate from a simple assumption that we're only as strong as the weakest link in the network. And given that there are 300 million people in this country that use the internet and to connect to the cyber infrastructure in some way, it appears to me that the only choice we have is to work together. We have no other choice. There should be no finger pointing out there about who did something wrong or all those things, because there's no individual, business, or government entity that is solely responsible for cybersecurity. Everyone has a role. Everyone needs to share the responsibility to secure the computers and networks they use, and they're part of cyberspace, and everyone needs to engage the people around them to make sure that they do the same. We need to start young. We need to educate our children extremely early. In the same way that we teach them about cultural science to protect themselves, such as red means stop and green means go, we need to integrate cybersecurity into their lives. We need to start early, before they even touch a computer. We advocate a comprehensive approach, as many in this room do: cybersecurity, cyber safety, cyber ethics, and we must secure networks for children in the schools they use so that they can get the riches of the internet themselves. We need to build public-private partnerships like NCSA that are well-funded, have resources, and significant bandwidth to conduct broad-based education campaigns. They need to be flexible, and they need to adapt as the digital culture unfolds. Our awareness efforts have to be targeted to diverse groups, including young people, college-age students, older people. We can't leave out people with special needs. We can't people who are physically challenged or intellectually challenged, or perhaps they're still on the other side of the digital divide. They have to be included if we're going to do this correctly. And our efforts have to be scaled so that they're big enough to reach everyone. We need to ensure that our businesses, especially small and medium-sized, are making the investments in cybersecurity that they need to make. They have to protect their customers, their employees, their intellectual property, and they have to, and the consumers have to get on board and have to demand that those companies engage in the best practices to protect them as well. This is a two-way street. We need to ensure that our colleges and universities are safe and are safe places where people can learn, and that we respect that they have intellectual property and research data and other infrastructure that are really critical to us and it's protected. And let's not forget the home users. More and more we have households running wired and wireless networks, storing personal and business data, accessing larger networks, like we know a lot of people access their work networks from home. They are a critical link in our security. They embrace the technology and become cyber savvy, but they need to do more to be cyber secure. We can't engage in cybersecurity only as a reaction to a threat. We have to embrace it as the foundation of the digital age. We have to promote the potential of content, connectivity, communication, community, and commerce, so people will be motivated to protect the things they value in an online world, and to instill protecting the digital environment as value equal to protecting our physical and natural world, because that's what we'll be operating in the future. It's the same. Upon a safe and secure cyber infrastructure, we can achieve even greater things. I want to really quickly go through just a bunch of things that NCSA is doing this month. I actually know that a lot of you are doing many things. In fact, over 100 groups have endorsed, or close to 100 groups now have endorsed National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. That doubles, more than doubles what did last year. This is a sign of what's happening. We'll be releasing with Symantec our home user study. We'll be expanding our CSAVE program, which is our volunteer program in the schools. We have McAfee and SAIC and EMC, and we have a group in northeastern Oklahoma reaching out to schools and reaching Native American kids with information about cybersecurity, cyber safety, and cyber ethics. We have Cybersecurity West, a big conference on the West Coast with DHS and the state of California that are going to look at all these issues and bring some great panelists together. That's October 14th. There's plenty of room. Please join us. We're doing a social media campaign that's going to be directed towards college-age students. What's going to reach them in an edgy and humorous way. And Google and Facebook and YouTube are all joining our effort to get that word out. It's really, really critical to us. We have a small business study coming out later in the week with Symantec, with Symantec, which is going to look at the cybersecurity practices of small and medium-sized enterprises. What are they doing? How do they value it? How are they training their employees? Where do they get their information about cybersecurity? And we have, as we always have with DHS, we have lesson plans coming out through the USA Today Foundation. And that's being helped this year by BAE Systems, which has given some money to help make sure that those lesson plans get into even more schools and to more teachers directly. So we're really, really excited about that. So, no executive director gets to where he is without the help of his staff, and I want to thank Amy Larson-Kirkpatrick and Maura Kinney, and I want to thank Joyce and everybody else who's helped put this day together and helps us get to where we are. And then I want to thank you for coming today. Thank you for everything you do to educate people and secure our future. And thank you for sharing the responsibility. In a few minutes, we'll be joined by our distinguished guests. In the meantime, just take a moment, introduce yourself to the person next to you, ask them what they're doing in October for Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and we'll be right back.